In today's hyper-intensive regulatory environment, even the alternative asset space can't escape the demand for transparency. I'm Kovach, editorial director of TabbFORUM. I'm joined today by Jayesh Punater, CEO of Gravitas. Jayesh, thanks for joining us. What can you tell us about the current environment for hedge funds, and how have their needs changed given the demand for transparency?
Les, I think we're facing a sea of change in the industry. If I'm a hedge fund manager, I'm facing an opportunity to scale and grow my business because there's a lot of appetite for my product. I'm performing well. However, I have these headwinds of investor requirements and regulatory requirements that are creating burdens for me. So some of the old models of building a business and growing and scaling, whether it was just hiring everybody in-house and consuming whatever I need and and buying process and systems and services, are not effective anymore because the need on scale and efficiency has grown. Outsourcing is not a very good alternative either, because then companies are worried about controls and and performance. So the industry is really trying to figure out how to build these world-class business to take advantage of the opportunities presented, but scale in a different manner.
Traditionally, hedge funds were very secretive, close to the vest. Most of the technology in-house would be proprietary. Are you finding that that's changing, and what options are hedge funds exploring today?
I would say it's kind of the commoditization of technology and services. What was very proprietary 5 or 6 years ago, or 10 years ago, is become more of a commodity. In every part of the enterprise, it could be in the front, middle, and back office.
What services does that extend to? Does that include things such as risk as a service?
It includes risk. It includes middle office operations, technology, research. It's across the entire enterprise.
What are the models that funds are exploring in terms of finding some outside help?
So one of the innovations that's going on in the marketplace, which really came out of an engagement we had almost 6 years ago now, 2008 or so, is a model called co-sourcing. Co-sourcing is the next generational services model. This model gives hedge fund managers the service and the function as a service. So it really takes people, process, and technology, packages it, and provides it as a service. So as a hedge fund manager, I can just consume these services. It could be risk, it could be cloud services, which is gaining a lot of adoption in the marketplace, not only with new launches, but also with established funds. And it really goes from being a large operating capital expenditure to being an operating expenditure. So we feel one of the most interesting things going on in the marketplace is this co-sourcing services model, which more and more firms are beginning to adopt and embrace. And it ranges all the way from the front office, middle office, to back office and technology infrastructure.
So what are the benefits that a fund can expect to enjoy from a co-sourcing engagement?
By using a co-sourcing model, they get scale benefits, they get world-class technology, processes, and staff dedicated to them, and they can do a lot more in a more cost-effective manner and offer it and use it consume it as a service, kind of on demand. Instead of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars on technology infrastructure, I can just consume it and pay for what I use when I use it on a monthly basis. So it's really becoming much more things are being accessible, and it gives a differentiating factor for many of the smaller funds to be effective, to grow the businesses and meet investor and regulatory needs.
With options like co-sourcing available, is that changing how funds are launching?
Absolutely. A new launch right now, most of the launches now, over 90%, will either adopt or consider the cloud for their infrastructure. Similarly, risk meets the needs of investors, whether it's Opera or regulators, whether it's Form PF risk reporting, or internal needs for front office analytics for the portfolio manager and the team. This requires technology investment historically, or staff, and then implementation, long implementation, and a costly support team. With risk as a service and consuming it as a co-sourcing service, clients can get all of those benefits without having to hire staff, without having to buy technology, and they just pay for consumption of the technology and get dedicated teams.
So hedge funds have a tremendous opportunity right now, but whether they like it or not, they're going to have to change their operations to appease both regulators and investors. Jayesh, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.